Hey guys, I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. The QWERTY-based smartphones, they keep coming out. On one hand, you have the Motorola CLIQ 2, announced at CES, it's in the house now, and it's a huge improvement over the original CLIQ device. Better display, Android 2.2, better keyboard, all around, build quality much better than the original device. On the other hand, you have the T-Mobile G2, awesome device. It's right up there with the T-Mobile MyTouch 4G, the Nexus S, and some of the other high-end devices on T-Mobile. Which one's going to win? We're going to find out in the dogfight. But first, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. They've hooked us up with two of these and two of these so we can give them to you in the One Paw Bandit game. One thing I like about Best Buy Mobile, you walk out working. So if you go in to buy either one of these, they'll help you set up your email, set up your web, and make sure you're walking out working. Enough of that. Let's get into the dogfight. Special thanks to our T-Mobile, Motorola, and HTC PR friends. Which one's going to win? We'll find out starting right now. Okay, so here you have two great QWERTY options on T-Mobile. On the left side, you have the Motorola CLIQ 2, which, I keep saying this, but it's a huge upgrade from the original device. Just all around, it feels much better. The chrome accents look better. The hinge is nice and snappy, pops into place with a strong click. And the keyboard's been improved as well. You can see it's this honeycomb layout, nice rubberized texture. So all around, it feels like a much higher-end device as opposed to the original CLIQ. Then you have the T-Mobile G2 made by HTC, as you can see, and this is really a high-end device. This is, top of the line, up there with MyTouch 4G and Nexus S. And as of this video, this is selling for $99.99. This is also selling for $99.99. If you have an Even More Plus plan, this is where the difference is, though. It's $399 straight out on this one, $499 straight out on the G2. So it's a little pricey on the full retail side, especially when you can get the MyTouch 4G for $50 cheaper full retail, but still, the build quality on this device, and actually on both of these devices, is very good. Both are running Android 2.2. This is running Moto Blur over Android 2.2. This is running a stock version, for the most part, of Android 2.2. And you can just see in the design changes down here in the dock, the notification bars are slightly different. And you can see just with the home screens, you have your 7 home screens here. Excuse me. And you have 7 here, but you can notice minor differences in the icons and things of that nature. And then when you scroll up and you scroll down, you see the home icon. So little minor changes, but when you get a little bit deeper into the applications, I do think Moto Blur helps those people that are new to the Android platform. So that said, let's take a look at the build quality or the body of these devices. Micro USB charging port on the left side of the CLIQ. You have your camera shortcut button, huge. I'm a big fan of camera shortcut buttons because, I have shaky hands and most people do. So when you go to take a picture, you have that camera shortcut button, you can autofocus and take it from there. Volume rocker, and then like the iPhone, it has the switch to make it silent and turn the volume back on. 3.5mm headphone jack, power button, 5 megapixel camera on the back. Now this has a 1 gigahertz processor, like I said, it has a 5 megapixel camera, and the display is 3.7 inches. So reasonable display, edge-to-edge display, much better than the original CLIQ's 3.1-inch display. And a 1420 milliamp battery on this one. On the T-Mobile G2, you have an 800 megahertz processor, but it's a next-generation Snapdragon processor, which performs better, based on my testing, than the original 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor. So keep that in mind. While the clock speed may be lower, it still performs, in most cases, better. Volume rocker on the left, micro USB charging port on the left. Then you have your camera shortcut button on the right. This is a cool feature of this device, the battery latch to the door. See, I pop it open and the door pops off. Very easy to open. Close it like that. But instead of having to worry about how the door opens and closes, you can just pop that switch. 5 megapixel camera, flash, 3.5mm headphone jack, and power button as well. Now this has a QWERTY keyboard as well, and it sports HTC's Z hinge. If you watch my videos, you already know what this does, but for the sake of those that haven't watched, you can see instead of sliding straight up, it slides up and over. So it's a neat, unique little hinge, as opposed to something like this that just slides straight up. That slides up and over. Now the downside to this, if you're text messaging in bed or you're doing something upside down, the hinge doesn't keep itself up. So it will pop back down if you're holding it upside down. So something to keep in mind there. But build quality wise, I have to give it to the G2. Both of these devices are fantastic when it comes to build quality, but the G2 really takes the cake in terms of these nice metal accents, both around the battery door and around the screen. Now in the bottom you have 4 capacitive buttons on both of these devices: menu, home, back, and search, and then the menu and home buttons are flipped on the T-Mobile G2. You also get the added benefit of an optical trackpad down here on the bottom of the G2 so you can navigate without having to use the touch screen. Let's take a look at the widgets, actually jump right into that, because one thing I do like about Moto Blur, the widgets are fantastic. We'll scroll over here and you can see some of the widget samples here, the date and time widget, for example. Now, a lot of people don't like this. Moto Blur gets a bad rap. It's still one of my favorite manufacturer-installed interfaces because I do like the widgets. You can see, just on the widgets front, the widgets are customizable. So you can see, I'll open up Charlotte here. You can expand it out. You can expand the weather. It'll tell you with an X if you can't go that far, but they're customizable. Instead of a big widget just plopping itself down on your screen, you have the ability to kind of customize those to your liking. For example, somebody's Chase account balance is a little low. Let's see. You can make it a little bit smaller. You get the idea, but I just think they're very intuitive. It's nice that they added that customization option. And for somebody that has some home screens that are pretty much filled, you can customize your widgets around a little bit to make those a little bit larger or a little bit smaller as you see fit. Motorola widgets include airplane toggle or airplane mode toggle, those little toggles you saw at the top, Bluetooth where you can turn it on and off just through the widget, music player, contact stuff, contact quick tasks, which is where you can set 3 or 4 contacts on one screen and dial those directly, messages, news, social networking, sticky note, weather, world clock, etc. And then you have the typical Android application or Android widgets as well. They're just separated into different folders. So you have your typical power control, news and weather, things of that nature. On this one, it is a stock Android build for the most part. So when we go to widgets on this one, you're going to see just the option to add widgets. And you're going to see the typical Android widgets: calendar, Facebook, finance, Google Voice, which comes pre-installed, news and weather, the power control. Quick keys is something that's a little bit different on this device. This is a G2 thing, not a stock Android thing. But when we open it up, you can see that on the bottom of the keyboard there are 3 quick keys here, and you press one, and it'll allow you to set a shortcut to, let's say, Google. Let's say we use Google Translate a lot. Quick key number 3 is assigned. So whenever I click on that, it's going to pop me right into Google Translate. Or if I don't want to open the keyboard, I can use the widget on the main screen. Now, one interesting thing about this device, as I've said in previous videos, it comes with literally every Google application known to man out of the box. It has, in addition to things like Amazon MP3, it has Google Goggles, it has Finance, it has Search, it has SkyMap, Translate, Maps, you name it. Look through here and you can see those on this other screen as well. Shopper, Earth, My Tracks, Listen, Google Talk, and that's fine. I mean, it's nice, they're promoting their own product, but for the people that don't want Earth or don't want Shopper or don't want Goggles, there's no option to uninstall on this device. You have to keep those on. So, it's just one of those things. It's kind of a space hog. And for me, I use probably, out of all these applications, I use Maps and Talk and Finance, and that's about it. I would get rid of the rest, and like Earth and SkyMap and things like that, and Translate. But I can't do that because they're unable to be installed. So, it's a minor setback there, but otherwise, you'll see T-Mobile has a few pre-installed applications. It has My Account, My Device Help, Visual Voicemail, which comes free with your T-Mobile plan, Wi-Fi calling, which if you're ever in a dead spot and you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can jump on Wi-Fi and make phone calls. So nice perks on the T-Mobile side, that they've added into this. And then you can see a few applications I've installed like Quadrant Standard, Twitter, etc. Go into this one, and you see very similar, except for the blur, kind of the blur programs. You have accounts, but you have 3G mobile hotspot in this. This serves as a hotspot as well. There's just no button or no application for it. You have to go into settings and turn it on through wireless and networks. You can see tethering and portable hotspot right there. But anyway, this one has 3G mobile hotspot, Amazon MP3, Blockbuster pre-installed, DLNA support, and you can see some Moto Blur stuff like files. And then you have the Android stuff, Marketplace or Android Market, and the T-Mobile stuff, My Account, My Device Help, and then scroll down T-Mobile's App Pack, and then you have Wi-Fi calling and visual voicemail on this one as well. So it's nice to see that they're putting those applications on mid-range smartphones and on high-end smartphones as well. Let's jump right into messaging so we can see the keyboard differences on both of these devices. We'll jump in on this one. You can see I've already used a draft for a video. Now you have a couple different options on this one. You have swipe in the Android keyboard in terms of on-screen options. I'm not a big fan of swipe. I don't work well with it. But I'm sure a lot of people are, and it's a great product. So But for me, I would stick with the Android 2.2 keyboard, but you can see, let's go to the CLIQ. Brown Fox is overpaid. CLIQ Brown Fox is overpaid, and you can see I type relatively quickly, but for somebody who's used to a multi-touch keyboard or something fast, I don't find the performance of this one to be as fast. It's not multi-touch so far as I can tell. But you can use it in portrait and or in landscape if you don't have the keyboard up for whatever reason. But once you open that keyboard, I continue to say this is my favorite physical QWERTY keyboard on the market. So it's absolutely fantastic. Fox is overpaid. Type it again. You can see some symbols over here, the @ www.com, and you have a dedicated spacebar row down here with your quick keys, so it doesn't get lost in the text. So it also looks like a physical computer keyboard, thus making it easier to type on. You have your caps locks on both sides. So very well thought out keyboard, and overall I've been pleased with it. Now of course you have swipe as well, like I said. On this one you have swipe, but you also have Motorola's multi-touch keyboard, which I've said before, and I'll say again, it's one of my absolute favorite on-screen QWERTY keyboards on the market. It's a little harder to type on this one because it's a 3.7-inch display, but you can see, even with auto correction, just wonderful keyboard. It works incredibly well on the Droid X thanks to that 4.3-inch display. But this is a dogfight between these two devices. But you can see, portrait and landscape as well. Absolutely fantastic keyboard. Now this one comes with swipe as well, so if that's your thing and you want to use swipe, you can always click over to that and use swipe and do it that way. Now you have your on-screen keyboard also, your physical QWERTY as well. Excuse me, and you have this honeycomb layout, and it's an improvement in my opinion over the original CLIQ. They say it's an improvement. They say they really worked hard to improve the keyboard over the original CLIQ. You see you have your D-pad over here. You have some buttons over here, your back, your enter, your OK. Then you have caps over here and your symbols as well. Notice that on this one also the space bar is a dedicated row, which just makes me very happy. Let's do the quick. Oh, let's mix it up. Let's mix it up. The quick. No. Green. Cat. Ate my food. The quick green cat ate my food. So you can see, quick and easy to type on. Now I've been working with this thing for about a week, and the keys, I've been typing on it every now and again, not full time by any means because this isn't my device, but I've been typing on it back and forth, and the keys still are a little bit tight for my liking. It's a little bit harder to type on. I expect over the course of 3 weeks or a month or 5 weeks for that to soften up a little bit, but for the most part, the keys have been a little bit tight, and I've been resorting to the on-screen keyboard.